Hi, Alan Hurd here from Hurd & Son Joinery and Antique Restoration. I'm going to show you a little trick here. Oh, it sounds like Freddy the Ghost is coming downstairs to see what's going on. Anyway, we'll let this one run. You ever dinted a tabletop or dinted a piece of furniture and you really have got to get that dint out before anybody sees it? I'm going to show you a little trick here. It'll even work through lacquer and French polish. See what you think, see whether you can have a go at it yourself. Now imagine that this is your tabletop. This is just a piece of redwood or deal, and it's not a particularly nice piece, as you can see. It's any old bit out the rack. But let's say you drop something across your tabletop. Let's say you do that. I've hit that quite hard, but what you need to do to try and get that out is you dab on water on the top like that. Now you really need to leave this water for about five minutes, and what that does is it soaks in to the damaged fibres of the timber. You can see very closely, look, that it's starting to creep backwards or sideways down the grain. That's what you want it to do. You want it to go into the grain, and what it's doing is it's softening all of those fibres that have been compressed by the hammer, or in other cases the bolt on an engine casing or something like that. So you let it go in, you see it's all starting to disappear into the wood. Then what you get is you rip the edge off of your pillowcase or a good NHS edge to a blanket like that, and you soak it in the water rather, not in the wood, and then you lay it on the wood. You get your better half's best iron, and hot as it'll go, and then you hold it on. You see the steam coming up? That's pretty darned hot, I'll tell you. And you leave it, and you leave it, and you leave it, and you leave it. About 10-12 seconds, take it off. Now straight away you'll see that that's started to lift. Now while it's still warm, you get more water onto it like that, and the water will suck in even more. And you do that, and you dip the tail of your cloth in again. I always use cotton for this, and then you go over it again. Steam will come up. You hold it on for about 10 seconds, something of that kind of time frame. Then you take it off again, and again it's come up. Now you might have to do this 5 times, but you'll see that it is actually coming up. In the worst case scenario, it might, the iron, if you hold it on too long, it might just damage the lacquer or the French polish, but you're not going to have a dint in your tabletop at the end of it. So you go on again, you hear it hissing. Hold it on, hold it on. Don't be frightened of holding it on, but as long as you don't dip the iron onto the lacquer over here, otherwise you're going to make your piece of furniture look like you've left your iron on a shirt too long, and you're just going to have the shape of an iron in the lacquer. There you go. Almost there. That's after the 3rd go, and now the 4th go. Again, always remember to put your cotton into the water. On you go. All I can say is don't, whatever you do, dip the nose of the iron into the lacquer over here if it's a tabletop, and that is it. There's just the faintest of little dip there now. Now leave that for today. Tomorrow, when it's all dry again, you come back to it, and if it hasn't completely done it, you do it again the next day. Don't try and do it all in one go. You'll only spoil it, or you'll wreck the lacquer. It's better if it's just onto a bare bit of wood, but unfortunately, if you've done your engine onto the best table, it's your fault that you've got a dint there. This is just to try and help you. I hope it has helped you, and see you next time. Right, well that video was done for all of you boys out there that do car and motorbike engines on the good lady's best tabletop. I hope it's got you out of a mess, and I hope it's worked for you. It's worked for me no end of times, but now I've got this workshop, I don't have to do it on the dining table. See you next time. Like and subscribe.